Closer. Yeah, there.
Okay. Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy, Subi Boy, at you with his first video. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that has been discussed on YouTube numerous times, so I thought it would be a good place for me to start. We're going to start with 5 things I hate about my 2004 WRX. Before we get into this, there's just one thing I want to discuss with you guys, and that's how much I absolutely love this car. Words cannot describe how much I enjoy this car and how much joy it's given me. So these are just 5 things that kind of irk me a little bit, but there's nothing about this car that I would change. So coming up, number 1, and this is probably a big one for a lot of people, but it is a performance car, so you can't really hate on it, but that is the fuel economy of this car. The fuel economy of this car is absolutely terrible. Especially you got a lead foot and you tend to get into boost a lot, which I do. Now even if you have a daily driver, which my girlfriend has a really small car that's good on fuel, sometimes it's still a tough choice for me to choose between the fuel economic daily driver or the fun but gas guzzling Subi. Normally I tend to choose the Subi. Okay, so the second thing that I have on my list here is the squeaky seatbelt. I don't know if this is a thing that happens with all Subi owners, but it's something that happens with me. On the driver's side, when you pull down the seatbelt, it makes this insanely annoying squeaky noise that hurts your ears just a tiny little bit. Now moving on to number 3 on my list, we got armrest. Coming from our previous car, which was an Audi, it was really comfortable inside and there was a nice armrest. So the one thing that kind of got to me a little bit was the fact that there's no armrest. When you're sitting, you're kind of leaning down to the side and there's not a very comfortable place to put your arms. Same thing with on the door side. If you put your arm down, the hand grab, the grab handle is quite low. So you kind of, I don't know where to put my arms. And I know resting your arms on the gear lever is never a good idea either. Number 4 is how you get some nice fenders on these WRXs stock from the factory, and I really like the look of it. It's the main reason why I went with a sedan over the wagon, is I love the flared fender look on these cars stock from the factory. It is amazing. But the one thing that lacks is the tires. The tires are sitting, they sit tucked in underneath these fenders, miles away, and it just kind of looks a bit wimpy. You want your car to be aggressive and stanced out, but that is something you can change easily with some spacers and just put that on, and then this car will look super aggressive and will take presence on the road, no problem. The 5th thing, which is another thing which, I mean, that's the reason why people mod these cars, is how quiet they come from the factory. There is absolutely no rumble from these cars from the factory. I mean, there's more gearbox whine, there is more turbo spool, and the turbo spool super quietly as well, than exhaust note. I can barely hear the exhaust. Even when I'm redlining, going at top speed, really pushing this car for what it's got, I still can't hear anything. But again, this is something that can easily change with mods. A bonus one, which is number 6, and it is something I had to get used to, but it doesn't bother me that much anymore, but that's the turning circle in this Subi. The turning circle in these WRXs, at least this model, is terrible compared to other smaller, or even other sports cars. I understand it's for better handling, and this car handles great, don't get me wrong, but the turning circle is definitely something to get used to. So just to finish this video up, I just want to let you guys know that I love this car. It is the best car that I've ever had. I've only had 2, and this ranks number 1. Previous car is 2nd. There is nothing I would change about this car. From the factory, these things are really rally spec'd out. You can have so much fun driving these in the road, and if you need them to be quiet and you just want to cruise around, that's also not a problem. These WRXs are great. And if you're thinking about buying one, I would say do it. I was in the same position. I was thinking about buying one. I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm just started getting a job now. I don't have that much cash flow. I was thinking about maintenance. I was thinking about fuel economy. Would all those things get to me? And I mean, at the end of the day, it is an expensive car to run, especially in terms of the fuel. but it is totally worth it. I have never gone to the gas station and been upset about filling up the tank. Every time I fill up the tank, I know that I got another 400 Ks or about 200 miles that I'm gonna get out of this car, and every single mile that I get out of this car puts a smile on my face. So that's 5 things with a bonus 6th thing that I hate about my WRX. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for 5 things I love about my WRX.
Yay!
We're not done yet.